We just wait for a couple more minutes.
Hi, this is Wei Wei.
Hi, Vivek.
Hey, Anu.
I have a quick question. So Lucilla was talking about the annotations that
Yeah.
you did for the challenge.
Right. We annotate the question, those 30 questions without annotation.
So you did about 900 and odd annotations, right?
Yeah, we found. Right. We labeled 943 data sets for the 30 questions.
For the 30 questions?
Right. So there are 3 question sets. EA, there are 6 questions. E, there are 30 questions. And T, there are 15 questions. We annotated the set E of 30 questions.
So have you all generated an annotation guideline, and do you have something?
Annotation guide. We followed your criteria. There's a criteria from the challenge saying how to judge if a data set is relevant, partially relevant, or not relevant. We just follow that criteria.
Oh, okay. And did you look at inter-annotator agreement?
We did. Actually, we have 4 annotators, 2 6-year PhD students in bioinformatics. They went over all the questions together. So we didn't calculate a kappa score between them because they actually went over all the questions.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Lucilla suggested that maybe we could combine those with our benchmark data set. We're talking
Sure, I'll
about
send that.
annotations
I'll
that
send the annotation to you.
UCSD group did, but I was just asking them about their annotation guideline and other stuff. So I don't know. She suggested that maybe we could combine it and to release the benchmark data set as soon as possible.
Right. Makes sense to me.
But yeah, so I was just asking him for. So Vivek, if you have any write up which kind of details what you all did. I mean, besides what you submitted for the.
Yeah, we did. We wrote a manuscript or a draft for our participation in the challenge.
But besides that, do you have
a detailed description of the annotation?
Yeah, like an annotation guideline or something. Or did you use our annotation?
We have discussion notes. I can summarize the notes.
Okay, that would be great.
Right.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. I guess we can get started. In the room here I have Hua, Trevor, Xiaoling, Riling, Ergen, and Nina. And on the call we have Huni, Jeff and Yuling, Nansu, Ron, Tim, and Wei Wei. Have I missed anybody? Okay. So on the agenda, we really have the same things that we had, broadly speaking, last week. But we've had some input already from Ron and Ian and Jeff and Huni for the feature list. So I want to briefly go over that, and then maybe we could finalize the priority items. And Ron, thank you for going through the FAQ page. We will incorporate.
My pleasure.
We'll incorporate the changes. Jeff, I saw that there's just one repository that remains to be indexed, right?
No, I think we've.
Or maybe it's not updated.
Should be. The last one was Tremble, and that's done.
Oh, that's done? Okay. So it's all done then.
Yep.
So next week, do you think you would have all the information compiled together and maybe present here at the CDT?
Yeah, we should be able to, yeah.
Okay. So also we had the feature list that Relink generated, which was put up on Google Docs, a Google folder, and we just a reminder, the release date is actually February 28th, but we're hoping to start testing by February 16th. And also an FYI, we had an executive committee meeting, and there was a discussion in the latter part of the meeting where Lucilla said that we should plan for a June or a July release of DataMed, and that should be taken as potentially a final version that we would be doing, so it needs to be well documented. So if some other team is going to take over the system, they should be able to easily, we should be able to transfer the material to them easily. So I, okay, where is it? So I just looked at, what I did was we had values put in by a couple of people. Like I said, Ian, Jeff, Ron, and Huni, and I just averaged out the values. And I was going through some of the things that were listed as features and what we want to do with them. So one of the things I think which was already discussed is that we will probably implement a functionality, but this is going to be post version 2. We will implement a functionality where we will allow for users to search CDEs if they're marked up in, you can't see very well, should I zoom in at least 2 repositories. Ian said that dbGaP has some data which is marked up with CDE, so maybe that's one we could look at, and I think George had mentioned that ICPSR could be another, but this will be implemented after version 2 release, so this is something that's going to be kept in the pipeline, but for later. For the
I know, just as a point of reference, the white paper talked about fairly frequent iterations rather than just focusing on major upgrades. So the databases that you talk about may be part of this frequent iteration and can be considered 2.1 or something like that in another month.
Right. So, but dbGaP and ICPSR have already been indexed.
Right, but the addition of the CDE around that would be, because in a sense it's an update to the data, right?
Yeah. So it's going to happen much later, though. I mean, it's.
We can discuss this at a future core development team meeting. It's just something that will need to be considered as the final major update approaches, and then what happens after that.
Okay. So for improvement of the tracking system, it's actually been the tracking system at the back end is actually implemented in the development server right now, and it's undergoing testing. So it should get implemented, I think, in about 2 weeks. So that will be implemented before the version 2 release. The other thing which actually came up fairly high in terms of, so one of the things was to add a way to search common fund repositories, which was a suggestion that was put in, I don't remember by whom, but by one of the NIH folks who have went through DataMed. And so I went in and looked at the issue. So basically they're talking about having a hierarchy for organizing the repositories, in which you would then be able to search within a subset of repositories. So common fund repositories would be one subset. Is that fairly straightforward?
Is it intended to be a hierarchy, or just a list of labels?
I guess hierarchy. So this was the issue that they were talking.
How do we know we should focus on common funds?
That's a good question. We would probably ask Ian and Ron to help us out there.
Yeah, if we have that information, we can add an alias named common funds, and we can search all the repositories within that name.
Like I said, I guess there were use cases that related to this, where people said, well, find me things that are, they said, find me data sets that were funded by a particular mechanism, but we didn't really have a use case that said only search in repositories that have a particular character. Yeah.
I don't know. So this was actually one of the things that was suggested, I think, at the BD2K all hands meeting, and this is also something that Ian thought was fairly useful functionality to have.
Well, I don't think it would be hard to implement. We just have to, at the time of adding the repository, specify whether it is or isn't. But is it something that there's user demand for beyond suggestion?
I do not think so.
Yeah.
So, but if we have that list, then we can do it.
Sure.
So this is already done, where we have sorting of data sets, right, by publication date.
Only the date.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I kept the remaining just because I didn't want to delete anything, but basically we decided that we were going to do only date. So this is already done, right? So, Jeff, you were talking about incorporation of schema.org metadata in the results display.
Yes.
Is this, so this would mean that it would be more easily findable by search engines, right?
by Google, right?
Right.
So it will index especially, and it's all it is really adding either the microdata or adding a sort of a JSON document that gets, that can be added, sort of linked into the page that just has the schema.org JSON metadata in it. And so this came up at the, it's come up multiple times, also with the work with Elixir and with Susanna with bioschemas work and all that, and also with Natasha Noy at Google. So it's a simple thing, and this could actually be one of the, since it's sort of a distinct, separate thing and easy sort of, it should be fairly easy to do because all you're doing is, adding some tags either in a separate document for a data set or, for within the document itself.
Okay. So just to, Reling has been actually looking at how to optimize the DataMed website so that it's easily discovered by search engines like Google, for example. So this is a list of all the actions that she has generated that we would have to implement to make sure that we are easily discovered by Google. And one of the things, I guess, that did come up is adding structured data, which is basically schema.org markup.
Yep, exactly, yeah.
But this would be done at the level of each data set, right?
Yes. So on the individual data set level, then there would be the tags, yeah.
Okay.
And it could also be done on the search results page, but we start at the individual data set level, and then there's creating site maps around that.
So basically, we will create a browsing function for all the data sets.
Like JSON format data. We can put all the information in that tag.
And the other option is to just do a dump to an XML sitemap.
Oh,
But it's going to need to be a sort of a multi-file sitemap.
Anyway, we can talk more, find the details. My initial thought is like a one page for each data set, basically, with all the tags that we needed.
And also search result page.
What's that?
Also search result page, like we search something, there's a list of all the search results.
Search result pages. I'm not sure what that. I was thinking about having a browsing function, like if you organize by each data repository, click a repository, show all the data sets, links to each data set, then sort of
but we
so
have
Google
that
crawler can go through the link and reach each individual data set page.
That's the site map.
Yeah, but that can also be done in the sitemap as well.
Yeah.
So.
And probably we need a functionality because having the title as a part of URL is important for.
For example, the simple way to do that would be just that you already sort of provide that because you have the link to the individual data repositories, and the link from the data repositories goes to a search for data in that data repository, and then they can page through that. So there's already a way to get at all the data sets, I think, through what's already there.
All right.
So this is also doable, right?
Yeah, just I don't understand the consider the no index meta tag. You'd want that on things that you don't want in Google.
Don't index.
Oh, okay, we need to remove that. I will remove the non-index.
All right.
Okay. So the next was provide publications related to the resources, assuming that the resources here are talking about the data set.
We have some repository that already have the publication information.
I'm trying to see. No, I think this is just a generic. This was from, okay. Yeah, this was from the feedback that we received earlier, right? I mean, we got people who went through DataMed, and this is one of the things that they talked about. But I think, so our related publications is not the same as this.
Well, we have a related publication in the right column.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's working. But it does, we search the title to the PubMed.
But if there's a PubMed ID already in there, we're displaying that, right?
Right. We have a link go to the PubMed.
Right. That's what I thought. Okay. So I think this has been implemented then. So for in terms of the API, I think for priority-wise, it came up quite high. This is the same as this, the remote service APIs and the development API. So is this something that could be completed? How long would it take for us to develop an API?
What kind of API do we need for users to download data set?
No, for users to be able to search, I guess. Right.
I mean, this was basically wrapping also some of the query pre-processing in terms of the terminology server into the process, right?
I don't have it. I take a look first.
Okay.
Okay.
So the other thing I think which somehow the Boolean search has some issues, so it's not working properly, and we also want to add disease as a field in advanced search. So these two would have to be implemented, I think, before we do version 2. With link out, it's already implemented.
Yeah, when we have more repositories, so I will update the link out file.
But we can first check whether they're already providing links to whatever additional repositories we have, right?
Right.
And they also send us like a monthly, is it monthly or quarterly report?
Yeah, it's monthly, but in January I haven't got it yet. Yeah.
Me neither. I think probably because the month is not over yet. So we'll bring that. This is done. And for additional filters which need to be in terms of file type, data restrictions, we already have some filters, right, for data restrictions. That's the access, data access.
Authorization. So for all the repositories, we have the authentication and accessibility information, but for SQL repositories, we have like data level population information, not for all repositories.
Data restrictions or data level?
Data level. We have this information for some repositories because we have this information in the metadata.
And we are displaying that as a facet.
Yeah, facet.
So then it's, and we also are displaying the species as facet, right?
Yes. If they have, then we'll display.
But if it's not, like for example, like clinical trials or something, then they're all human. So I think that was something that we talked about last time, right? That we want to kind of mark up somehow. The other thing which came in as an issue was that if a link is broken, then we should be able to report to the user upfront that the link is broken.
Yeah, it's doable.
It's doable, correct?
Yeah, I think that would be important because what you don't want is users to get frustrated and they start digging and they find links are broken. If it can be identified right up front, then it gives them a heads up on what problems they may have in trying to find something.
So the similar data sets is anyway something that's an ongoing process all the time, and that has been implemented and will continue to be implemented as we expand the number of repositories. So for data duplication, we have currently we do have markup, right, as to whether it's a primary repository or not. At that distribution, data distribution level, correct?
We have GO array spread and gamma. They have complete gene expression data. They may have duplicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about displaying it, similar to how, if I remember, Google does it, right?
Right. So we'll only show the primary, and then we'll have a link to the duplicate one.
Right. So, but I remember that last time we had the discussion where we said with that you would still need to figure out how to do the pagination and other things.
Mm-hmm.
But is this kind of doable?
Yeah, I can take a look.
So we don't have autocomplete right now.
We only have one on the advanced search.
And we took it out because of issues with Internet Explorer, correct? I think we need to see if we can get that back in. I don't know what they mean by it seems a bit unpredictable, but anyway. I think they meant, I remember that they were talking about, no, so when you have autocomplete happening, each time it identifies it as one term, the results pop up, right? And based on what's identified, I think the results keep changing.
or?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, because it's different.
Different terms, but that's probably what they are talking about here. So this is the same, so I guess this is something that we would want to do. And this is ongoing. This is also ongoing. So currently we are actually, to decide on what fields should be displayed, we have been looking at the primary repository. But we wonder, I think this is how we're going to move forward as to decide what field should be displayed, unless we have something different coming in when we talk to the repository folks. So, Huni and Jeff, if you are in touch with the repository people, maybe it would be useful if you could ask them the way or what they think should be displayed as well.
Okay.
On the UI side.
Okay.
Because right now we're just checking the primary repository and displaying whatever is mainly displayed there. Okay, so we talked about this as well last time, and this is ongoing. So this is part of documentation. I think we will write down and see what the relevance documentation, or explain how relevance is calculated in Elasticsearch that we are using by default. So this has been implemented already. So are we going to do most accessed data sets?
We have enough.
I do not know. You would have to check at the back end.
All that would need to be is whenever someone clicks on a data set that it, adds to a counter.
Maybe we can do it after integration of tracking system. We will have more information. We'll have a logging system to track.
Okay. So this is something that is dependent on the tracking system, correct? So for citation metrics for individual data sets, I also think we have that information only for Geo, and it's not updated, right? We also have it for PDB.
I'm not sure. I think the Geo only have the count, citation count. Yeah, but no specific information.
No, but this is citation and alerts for individual data sets. Metrics and alerts.
Oh, if some publications set up this dataset, we'll have alert.
Or it'll alert the authors, or it alerts us. Let's see if we have an associate. Okay, so this is a desired functionality.
Alert to new.
So I understand this, alerts to new results from saved searches. I'm not sure what this means. Citation metrics and alerts for individual data sets, including links to publication. So if a publication cites the data set, then
I guess it's sort of if a new citation comes in for a data set, that, for example, an alert would be sent, I guess, is what I would.
on a data set. Okay. Alert would be sent to the authors?
Well, whoever
Or we
subscribes
just
to
add-
the alert, right?
Or whoever signs up for an alert.
Yeah.
Or would that go back to the repositories?
I mean, it could.
In that sense, it might be a symbiotic relationship. It benefits the repositories to show that their work is being cited. It demonstrates that DataMed is working closely with the data submitters.
So right now, we do not provide any system where we are saying, okay, if you want to follow this particular data set, what's going to happen with it, right?
Yeah, we don't have that.
But this is something that would be hard to implement, correct? Or at least not easy. Because this means that we should be able to pull that information in from a publication.
So, for example, if a user clicks follow that data set, what will we send them updates? What will
We should, if somebody cites it or if somebody, I guess, comments on it. But we don't have a comment section either, right?
Well, if other people cite that, we need to, like, we have the new index. Otherwise, we don't have new update on that data set.
Right. So we're going to be updating the index regularly anyways.
Because if we re-index the repository, the ID of that data set will be changed. So the Elasticsearch ID.
But we can set we can set a fixed ID for each. And now we just let the Elasticsearch set a random ID, but we can do a fixed ID for.
Yeah, I think you can just pick it, or maybe find a way to generate one as a hash from there.
I mean, the other issue with the citation is where do we get? I mean, there's no easy way to get updated data right now.
I agree.
So we don't have an easy way to get the updates. You know, it's not because the other stated publications for data sets, that was a prior point, right? And we already have that for DB and Geo.
Citation metrics, right?
Yeah.
But we have what we have. We don't have any updated ones because I think a lot of that was manually curated.
Right. I mean, there's no easy way to get a lot of that data now.
Yeah.
In some places, PDB has some citation information, but not like the newspapers that cite something. So that's, you know, it's.
So, what about providing, we allow users to save searches, right? So do we periodically provide them with new results from saved searches? I mean, is every time there's an update to the index?
We can send them a link that will update the index for the repository. So when they click the link to our backend, the result will be different from previous one.
No, so I guess.
I mean, the issue there is that you need to have state as to
Tell the new result.
you know, what is a new record, what is an old record.
Add the timestamp for each data set.
Add a timestamp for the search.
For the
Yeah.
data set. For search and for data set.
But, I mean, in terms of publications from PubMed, I definitely find that a useful feature.
Yeah, basically you'd have to write, we'd need to have fields in the data set record that say when it was originally, you know, when's the first time it was brought in.
So this needs to be done at the back end then.
Well, yeah, it's back end and front end. On the back end, I can check with Barak on how what timestamps because he's maintaining some timestamps, but I'd have to check to make sure. That we have the right set of them for this.
Okay. Maybe you can look into this for later, after version 2 release. So this is done. This is ongoing. So also for those of you that are actually doing the coding, please deposit them in GitHub once you have them more or less finalized. And also start, if you could make sure that you have documentation like for them, for your code at the same time, so it would be easy for us to generate all documentation for it. And user studies are ongoing. So Jeff, what about the video? It's almost completed, right?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten any feedback, so.
I guess that's it then.
Yeah.
Okay. So was there anything else that we wanted to talk about? So I'll update the work list based on what we talked about today here, and then we just from next week onwards we'll talk about about this work list. So I guess that's it then for today. Is there anything else that we need to talk about? So Jeff, if you have time.
What about the update on the reindexing?
So Jeff is going to present that next week.
Next week.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
finished. We just have we have to go through the logs and the timing and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Jeff, since we have a little bit of time, can we maybe set up a time for you, Rilling, and Burak to talk?
Yep.
Do you have time this week?
Thursday and Friday are the.
Okay. So Thursday maybe then?
Yeah, like 11 my time.
Okay.
Is it your time? Does
That will
that
be
work?
1 hour time. Okay.
Huh?
That'll work.
Oh, that's 1 o'clock your time, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So this is to talk about the workflow for
Yep.
updating and reindexing.
Yep. Yeah, Yuling's just checking with Burak right now.
Okay. I'll send out a meeting invitation then.
Okay.
Was there anything else? If not, then thank you all for attending the meeting.
All right.
And we'll talk to you again next week.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.